a lady had answered, and she said, yes, I'm selling. She said, I need to move quickly. And I asked her why that was. And she said that her husband had just gone to prison for firing a shot at the neighbor.
Well, Cody, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for taking time to sit down and do this interview with me. Maybe you could start with where you're from and how you got started.
Yeah, so I am from McMinnville, Oregon. You know, I was just flipping through Facebook one day and I saw a video. I believe it was you sharing something about wholesale and real estate, and I had no idea what it was, and I wasn't involved in real estate at all. Yeah, I started watching videos every day, all night, in the car, everywhere. I was just really into learning about it. And so that's how it all started.
How long was it that you were in the learning and education phase before you decided to start looking for leads and making offers?
So I started watching videos in July. And then I started making offers in early October. Yeah, early October, about then, so I was stuck in that analysis paralysis for a little while. Just kind of working up the courage to make the phone call. So
a few months of learning. I mean, that's pretty normal. And did you feel overwhelmed? Did you feel like there was just a lot to learn, or what do you think the fear was that you had at first?
Yeah, it was just the fear of knowing what I was doing exactly, saying the wrong things or sounding stupid, just all the normal concerns. But no, I mean, I felt like I got the hang of it pretty quickly. It was just working up the courage to make the first phone calls, So.
And you got your first deal the same way I got my first deal, which was driving for dollars.
Yeah.
What happened with me is I was driving around in the neighborhood that I was targeting, and there was this tiny little for rent sign or for sale sign in the window that was all faded. You could barely even see the phone number. You could tell it had been there forever. It was vacant, and called and ended up working the deal. What was it like for you? Because you did something similar where you were driving for dollars, right?
Yeah. I was looking around, driving around. A friend gave me a tip of, an area where there might be some properties. So I drove over there, and I saw a house that just had the grass hadn't been cut for, looked like a year. The house was a little bit beat up, and I thought, this looks like a good one. Sure enough, I called it, and it was a lady had answered, and she said, yes, I'm selling. She said, I need to move quickly. And I asked her why that was. And she said that her husband had just gone to prison for firing a shot at the neighbor. So I said, okay. And she's like, I need to get out of here. I need to move. And so I thought, okay, this is a good one. She was in a bad situation. I figured maybe I could help her get out of there. So I went and looked in the house. It was fairly rough. It had bed bugs in the house, and my first time going in there, I pretty much ran in and ran out because I was so scared of the bed bugs and all that, But no, it was good, and she wanted to sell quickly, and I asked her what her number was, and it was a little bit higher than what I was, what I knew I could offer. So I just had a meeting with her and gave her my number, and we met in the middle, and it worked out.
Okay. So she started a little higher than you wanted. You came in lower. And what price did you end up settling at?
So let's see. I believe we ended up at 250, if I remember right. Yeah, 250. She wanted to sell it at 300. I offered 200. At first, So yeah. So, and we ended up, I told her, I said, look, I can't go over that number. She said she needed to call her son and talk to her son about it. And I said, okay, that's fine. Just hopefully I can get an answer soon. I didn't want to lose her, so she called me back that night and said, if you can do 250, we can do it. And I said, okay, well, let's meet and sign the paperwork. And that's how it went. Yeah.
So you went back over with a contract and physically signed it with her?
Yep. I did. Yeah, my first one, that's how I did it. Yeah, ever since I've done everything virtually, but that one, yeah, I physically signed all the paperwork and and I was nervous. I tried not to show it, but yeah, that's how we did it. We met at a Starbucks and signed the paperwork. So
okay. And how did you feel? What did you do to feel confident at 250? I mean, how did you know that was a good deal?
Well, I ran the comps in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I knew what houses were selling for, and it actually was right around the corner from my house at the time. So I knew what houses would sell for in that area. I knew they sold for about, 400, 450, so I knew that, if I could get a cash buyer at, 270, that they would take it, no problem.
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine go in and kind of like look at the house, inspect it, and tell me how much, he thought the repairs would be and whatnot. Kind of following the formula and just making sure that it would work out,
Yeah.
So
you get it for 250, and then what'd you do then to find your buyer?
So I went on Facebook and I said that I had a house on a deep discount, and I'm looking to build a cash buyers list. And I had quite a few people contact me, giving me their email and whatnot. And I had sent it out, and I just made an email, and I just sent that same email to everybody, and I had quite a few people.
You didn't put the property, you just said, I've got a deal, or I'm looking to add buyers to my list.
So I said, I have a property in McMinnville, Oregon under a deep discount.
Okay.
I'm looking to, looking for a cash buyer, looking to add to my cash buyers list. And then I had a lot of people just like DMing me their emails. And then, so that's how it started though, but that's not actually how I found my buyer.
And why didn't you just post the property? Why didn't you want to do that?
Well, I was new and I was worried about, somebody else swooping in and, maybe stealing it, and I wasn't extremely confident at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was my concern. Yeah.
So you didn't put the property or the address. You named the city and said, DM me your email if you're interested, but it worked. You got, how many people do you think responded?
Oh man, I had a lot, I must've had 50, 60 people, it worked pretty well. And, to this day, I have them on my cash buyers list.
Yeah.
So even if that one didn't work out, I knew that in the future I could, send them my future deals.
It's kind of smart because let's say that you just posted the property and then by doing that, maybe only, I don't know, 4 or 5 people respond or 10 or something that are interested in the property. But by doing what you did, you actually generated probably a lot more names and emails for your list.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. The unknown brought a lot more people. Yeah.
You guys see that? That was kind of a unique idea there. Now the risk is people don't catch the property or get excited. They don't see the number, but still it sounds like it generated a lot of good leads to add to your cash buyer list. Yeah. But you said that wasn't how you found your buyer?
So no, I actually didn't get, none of those cash buyers were necessarily interested. They were maybe looking in another area or, the numbers didn't quite work for them. So I ended up putting it on a Facebook group. I just posted that I had a property under contract on a Facebook group.
Well, where was the first place you put it?
The first one was an investor's site, like a Oregon real estate investor site. Yeah. But the second one was a Facebook marketplace in that area, in the Yamhill County area where I live. And yeah, by the end of that workday, I was flooded. I had so many messages I couldn't keep up. Why do you
think marketplace generated so many leads? I mean,
I just felt like there was a lot of people in that area looking for a house, looking for a property, and so, I mean, and it worked, there was a lot of people get on those marketplace sites, and so I ended up having a guy message me and said, I want this, I have a deposit, call me. And he gave me his number and I said, okay, he seemed serious, so I called him and he said, well, I want to get this done. I'm going on a trip to Mexico, so let's meet and get this done, and he was an older guy that just was looking for a project. you know, he's remodeled homes in the past, and he was just looking for something to do, you know, and he had money.
And so he was all cash. And what price did you get him at?
So I got him at 270.
Yeah, 270. Yeah. So you had the contract at 250. Did you do a straight assignment to him for 270?
Straight assignment.
Yeah.
Yep.
You need a 20K on that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I had him leave a $5,000 deposit.
Good.
You know, when we signed the assignment contract, and we gave that to the title company. So, yep.
And then was it smooth sailing? Were there any hangups with title or closing?
The only hangup was that, so because the husband went to prison, he couldn't necessarily sign. Oh. And she said she was power of attorney, and she was, but the title company wasn't okay with her signing. So they had to do a overnight mail to the prison, you know, so that he could sign the paperwork that was needed for title to close. So they got that done, sent it back pretty quickly, and it was all smooth sailing from there.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, luckily he was on board with selling the house while he was, you know, occupied.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Because she was like, well, I haven't quite told him how much I'm selling the house for yet. And I was like, you know, and I was like, well, is it going to be a problem? And the son was like, no, it's not going to be a problem. I'm going to make him do it. I was like, okay, you know, that's on you guys, you know.
I don't know if you make the guy that shot at the neighbor do anything, but okay.
I know. That's what I said. So I was nervous about that for sure. I was kind of worried it was going to fall through.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that being a worry. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, way to go, Cody. Really cool story. You know, it just goes to show you that, first of all, driving for dollars can be a very powerful strategy. It's unique in that you can usually create a custom list, right? So you go drive around, you get a list of addresses. Those addresses might not be on a list that people can get and download from somewhere, right? It might not be an absentee owner or pre-foreclosure or whatever. And so those unique custom lists can be very powerful lists. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And so that was your first deal. Now you had mentioned that you're also doing some creative deals.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do creative deals. You know, that's kind of one of the things that I'm working on. Yeah. You know, that I want to add that to my list. So I'm watching a lot of the Pace Morby stuff, you know, and watching your guys' videos together. Good.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Cody, you're a flipping genius. Guys, leave a comment. Tell Cody he's a flipping genius. Really proud of you, Cody. That's amazing that you jumped in, started with zero, learned what you needed to do, took action, and now got results. And here you are, you know, building your wholesale business and now learning new things. And that's how it goes. So really, really proud of you. Really exciting to see that happen.
Appreciate that. Thank you.